Good morning, I'm PolarizedMoon and welcome back to Phantasy Star Online 2. So, the Photoners are invading, and ooh. Radiculio or something? Oh, whoops, I turned around. Those are cool. We saw those during one of the cutscenes earlier. They do remind me of something from the first game. Ow. There we go. Oh, come on. There was like a crystal-shaped barrier that one of the enemies would create in the original game in episode 2, towards the end. And that's what these kind of remind me of. They would create a barrier from one side, and they had like these, like pincer arms that would come out from the back, or from the front. I'm not really sure how you want to do it. And then they could shoot a big laser when they spun around. Okay, these are short little areas here. Whoa, ooh, that's cool. So we got a boss fight. Drow Barrage. Okay. Oh, we broke one of its arm or shoulder pads. All right. There we go, and it's dead. Shall we go on further? Yeah, let's do that. Everything's like blue, or everything's yellow here instead of blue like the last mothership. That's because this is like the clone mothership that we built earlier. I think this is the first time we've ever actually been in here. Technically.
By the way, how can you track the enemy's movements, Risa?
By actually using my eyes.
What?
Everyone in ARCS relies way too much on photons. Even more than their own eyes. You've used radar to attack invisible enemies before, right? It's like that. Same deal. Everyone thinks they're using their eyes, but they're really sensing baddies via photons. But these baddies have photonic camouflage. And on the flip side, they can read our photons loud and clear. No wonder you can't keep up. So in a kind of obvious conclusion, there's not much we can do.
So she's just...
Then we'll never be able to fight them on equal footing?
Find some tech to get around their camouflage, and you'd be able to sense them like usual. There are other people in ARCS who fight without having to rely on photons all the time, you know?
Does she mean...
Who is she talking about? I don't... Okay. Oh, that's who she means.
She's arrived.
Are you alone, young lady? Based on these photos,
She could probably just punch her.
I doubt you can face me alone.
Because if she's using photons, like a photon thing to just block...
We'll see who's underestimating who.
Yeah, it's just gonna go through.
Could it be you're not using photons?
Yeah, she's just gonna punch you in the face.
I don't have any photons, and I don't rely on sensors. Your ability to absorb photons is useless against me. Never thought my handicap would give me the edge, but here we are. I'll never forgive him for what he did. Luther deserves a little credit here. Gotcha!
Ooh. Did she just grab it? Yeah, she just grabbed it.
Now, what did you just say, young lady? I heard you correctly, a
Yeah,
most
Luther.
fascinating name escaped your lips just now.
Oh my god, she caught it with her fingers.
What is she? This is messed up.
Ooh, okay. God damn. She's just... Holy crap.
Commendable effort. But human effort doesn't count for much. Dust in the wind, or dust on the ground. When it comes down to it, that's the only difference between you and the masses. I was destined to rule the universe from the moment I was born. Because I am the universe.
Rule the universe? How arrogant can you get?
Your understanding is not required. You die here, either way.
Ooh. Which one of us is gonna save her? Excuse me?
Is this an ARC ship independent operating code? Why now? Wait, impossible!
What? Oh. Oh!
Hey, you okay, Sarah?
That's the last person I was expecting to come save her. I mean, it makes sense, but I wasn't expecting it.
Now this is a surprise. But all you've done is save me time.
Oh, that's really cool.
Show! What were you thinking?
Good thing I made myself bigger. Really helped me get in the way there.
Oh no.
Idiot! Why go out of your way for me?
I know it wasn't logical. But once
Aww.
I realized what I had to do, my body moved on its own. Guess I've become too much like mortals.
That's why she got the independent operating code. He's not controlling everything anymore.
I'd appreciate a little nap.
Show! Show!
Oh. What did he say? Are we ever gonna learn what he said? Oh, a mystery.
The head has been crushed. Now I suppose it's time to move on to the hands.
Well aware.
Oh, make fog.
Oak and Theodore?
Sorry we're late.
That's right. Ulka doesn't have photons either. Or at least not as much.
Like how crazy strong she is.
Glad to see you could make it in person, Admiral. Do you truly intend to oppose me with that mechanical doll?
Nope. That's not what I'm here for.
That sword does kind of look like the last survivor.
With my authority as Admiral, I hereby
Oh.
activate Code Abyss. All ARC's personnel withdraw. This is a compulsory warp. Hereby abandoning Mothership
Are they gonna blow it up?
They certainly know how to make an exit. This may prove more challenging than anticipated.
Good.
You did well to restrain yourselves.
You seem to be enjoying yourself.
Oh,
Is it
Varuna.
okay to let them escape?
It matters not. Let dust dance in the wind. Still,
She's still very
they
elegant.
seem to be avoiding me, so I hardly managed any points.
Fighting them was inefficient. Varuna wins this match.
I simply managed to find a particularly untidy area.
Well then, as a reward, I leave the pursuit up to you.
Very well.
Damn.
Guess I'm on watch duty. Boring.
You'll have your chance soon enough, Mitra. I promise, we aren't anywhere near finished with them yet.
Oh, she's taking it over? Oh, she's took it. Okay, I get it. So now all the ARC ships are independently operated by their own commanders. I get it. There's no longer a hive mind of ships. Aww.
Look, why?
Why did we withdraw?
Because I knew you'd react this way. Between the mothership Shao and you guys, I chose you guys.
Aww.
And I have no doubt that I made the correct choice. Shao would have done the same thing.
Oh.
You are the one who is connected to Shao. You are Sarah, right? Are you able to see me now? Who are you?
Aww.
I'm Oma, the first Claris Craze. I was here when you came here before, but you couldn't see me. But now you can see me, though. Do you understand why that is? Because of Shao's power? Yeah, that's right.
Aww.
Shao's power is inside you. He's sleeping within you. He is way too much for your vessel to handle, though. If he were to wake up, it would destroy you.
Oh.
That is the reason he is sleeping. Wow. So...
Okay. Like I thought, he's not dead.
That's what happened. Huh?
I kind of predicted that. Well,
Pull it together, everyone! Sierra, why do you think Shao gave you full permissions? You two! If you died back there, we'd be finished! You've got to look at the big picture! Sarah? That's what Shao would say. I can sense his feelings bubbling up inside me. And he'd also say, it isn't like you to give up without a fight. You're right. He would. Yeah, Shao hated losing. Sierra, can you contact the other ships? How's everyone doing?
Right! Ships currently operating under independent calculations.
We've received word on Ark's situation. The ships are scattered, but the 6 are confirmed alive.
That's good.
Operators are verifying the number of survivors. We'll know the full situation in an hour. Shao predicted this would happen. He transferred his authority in stages, so Arcs could operate without him. Unfortunately for you, Shao, it's a little early for retirement. Sierra, change our course. We're heading for Amduskia.
Amduskia?
Why are we going there?
It was the last thing Shao told me.
Oh.
Head to Amduskia.
Okay.
There must be some kind of key there. Something
The
to help
ruins.
us out.
The floating ruins? The floating continent? I would assume. There's something there that, that feels like it might be the only thing here that has some kind of, plot significance. The demise brings despair. To end in despair. I took 9 damage. Oh, achievement unlocked. Wow. Oh my god. Oh, there's a lot going on here. Alright, let's continue on with these subquests.
Sierra, what's going on? Unidentified warp detected. Initiating telescopic imaging.
Oh, this is the Armada. Okay.
An unknown fleet? It's Shiva, the goddess of Annihilation's fleet. So, the Armada of Annihilation? More importantly, it appears to be packed with hostile signals.
They mean to pursue us. Thorough, aren't they?
PolarizedMoon and I will use our fleets to draw them away.
Huey and I know how to put on a good light show, so we'll be perfect decoys.
Huey, Claire's craze.
No need to worry, predecessor. When Huey and I are together, we can't be beat.
Exactly. We're invincible. We'll keep the troops all fired up too. Leave the fighting to the combat bureau. You all focus on doing what we can't do.
Oh, hi.
Guess I'll join them then. I've said my piece. All that's left is to have a blast shooting up some baddies.
Fantastic. You go do that. Alright. Luther's confession. Is he going to talk about what actually happened? Is us having Luther's like embodiment inside us going to be one of the reasons why this plot works out in the end? Flash. Oh, we're just gonna... Okay.
I had a feeling you'd show up. I'd ask what you want, but it's obvious. You want to know about Shiva, yes?
Yeah, that's the gist of it.
I'm as informationally challenged on that front as you are.
What does that mean?
Harriet told you most of it already. I created Harriet. She was the ultimate photon vessel. Undoubtedly my greatest masterpiece. The vessel gained a sense of self, a will. Not unlike the birth of intelligence itself.
So what's the other one up on the top left? Are there others?
Eon's beginnings. The sudden birth of intelligence within the oceans. I recreated that phenomenon. If not for those pompous barbarians who saw her as a mere vessel, she would have attained omniscience. I had the time, the technology, the Akashic records to use as a model. And yet, the people wished for an instant solution. They ripped the original soul from the vessel, poured photons into it and used it as bait. Bait for the profound darkness, which exists to expunge photons. Their plan succeeded. The profound darkness entered the vessel, gained intelligence, and was bound to its physical form.
Oh, okay. So this is why in this story the Dark Falls have intelligence. Because everything up until this point, it was just a being of darkness or something like that. It was like an evil entity that just kind of spread corruption. And it didn't really have an intelligence. It was more of like, it showed up somewhere and then the people around it started getting corrupted and things like that. And then it inhabited a body and became a giant monster. But this game is specifically different because Dark Falls has intelligence. So it's a group of creatures that have all the powers of the classic Dark Falls. They create, in this game it's called the F factor, and the other one is called the D cellular life form, the darkness power, or whatever you want to call it. And it just causes animals to go insane, people to transform into what here are called Fallspawn or altered beasts and things like that. So in this story, the profound darkness gained intelligence as a result of actions by people. So that's a very interesting plot here.
All that remains was to dispose of the body.
But
the barbarians miscalculated. The entity now known as Shiva had attained the ability to understand others. She left the Dark Falls, cancerous outgrowths of mortal desires, to tie her to this universe, all in anticipation of her eventual return. And that is what we are. So, a rather pathetic tale, is it not? Relating it to you is my way of thanking you. As a person, as Luther. You saved Harriet's soul. Knowing that has been most beneficial to me.
Aww.
Shion was naturally aware of her as well, I suspect, which is why they were sympathetic.
Okay. So that gives us a lot of insight into why the storyline here is so much different from what it was in previous stories. Hi, oh, that's up close.
I know it's not easy, but this is a critical moment. Cooperate, and we'll get through this.
Phew. I think that's a wrap for the ship-wide announcements.
You must be exhausted, Ook.
Well done, Ook. But by the way, the Guardian's here.
Oh, welcome aboard. Sorry we're putting so much pressure on you. We'll do what we can to help. I know we'll succeed.
Whoops.
My next task
I didn't mean
is
to
get the
skip
fleet up
that.
to,
Uh-oh.
Oh dear. I'm getting dizzy all of a sudden.
Ook!
Jeez, are you okay? Ook!
Just got a little lightheaded there for a second.
Uh-oh.
Thanks, Theo.
You can't just laugh this off, Ook. You're pushing yourself way too hard.
Oh, is that how it looks?
You have to know your limits. If you keep this up, you're seriously going to pass out.
But if I don't make it count now, we're finished. This is no time to take a break.
You're right. We'll do it together then. Whatever
Aw.
it takes.
Oh my gosh, what is this, Theo? Usually you'd try to stop me, or shy away when things get tough.
Indeed. The old me would have forced you to take a break. Or just get depressed that I couldn't help. I'm still anxious about a lot of things, but knowing how committed you are makes me want to help you even more.
Aw.
I made a decision to be with you, Ulk. And moments like these are exactly why. Whoa, hey! You alright, Ulk?
I'm fine. Just fine. In fact, I feel like I can do anything now. Thanks, Theo.
Aw.
It's nice you two are hitting it off. But can you save it for another time?
I feel sorry for you.
Oh, why would you feel sorry for me? It's not like I'm jealous or anything. Not in the slightest.
Sorry. I had you all worried for nothing. I'm completely fine now. Time to get to work. I know we can overcome this and regain control of our future.
Fantastic. Photon absorption abilities. Interesting.
Those
Oh, Harriet.
were remarkably strong, weren't they? Just like with Shiva and Mitra, they seem to be absorbing our photons to cancel out attacks. Can all Photoners absorb photons like that?
If I had to guess, it's Shiva's protection.
What do you mean?
Shiva's protection.
Shiva is the only Photoner who can absorb photons naturally.
Oh, so she's giving that power out to everyone else, like
She
lending it.
exists to contain all photons, to absorb them. And so she does. But it seems Shiva is capable of sharing this gift with her allies. The goddess's divine protection, if you will.
Does that mean all of Shiva's allies are capable of absorbing photons?
Correct. Each Photoner varies in capability, however. They're far from invincible.
Oh, really?
Yes. Each Photoner appears to have a certain tolerance for photon absorption.
Ah,
An attack that exceeds this photonic tolerance level
that makes sense.
should be able to harm them.
To overwhelm the
We
power.
already have proof of this. You were able to defeat those Photoner troops, weren't you?
Oh, yeah. They were pretty strong, but we did manage to beat them. So, if we can just hit Shiva with something that exceeds her tolerance for photons...
Yes. It should be possible to defeat her.
Okay, so it looks like they started with deciding to attack her with something that's not photons, and then she literally just used 2 fingers to fight that off. So now they're gonna go the opposite direction and overwhelm her with photons.
That said, Shiva is the profound darkness incarnate. She was created to contain all photons.
Does she have a limit?
We require enough strength to exceed such titanic photonic power.
That's gonna be tough, huh?
Okay. Do we need to shoot her with a giant laser made of photons? Damage report. Alright. Damage report. What you got for us?
Glad that's over with. ARC's independent operating codes. Never thought those would need to be used.
Excuse me.
Hello, Kasra.
Oh, hi, Kostra. What do you need?
My presence is unwanted as always. I see. No matter. Excellent timing. I can get you both up to speed. We
Good.
still can't predict what will happen, but the situation has settled down a bit. Firstly, Shiva and her forces now have complete control of the mothership.
As I expected.
We're referring to it as Mothership Shiva, and are currently searching for its whereabouts.
It vanished.
Each ARC ship is operating independently.
I imagine you're well aware of this, Sierra.
Right. There was some commotion at first, but everything's stable now.
ARC suffered overall losses of 40% in the
Oh
last
my
battle,
god.
including significant casualties. We're also currently investigating the enemies Shiva brought with her.
Those machine-looking thingies? Are they Photoners too?
We can't say at this point. Reports indicate they have no will of their own, however.
So they're mechanical weapons? Hey, looks like some data came in. Ah, too much data! Khosrow! What's with all this data?
My oral reports only cover the bare essentials. You may peruse this data for a more complete picture.
This is all the information we've gathered.
If you'll excuse me.
Why does he always send it in such a disorganized state? Would it kill him to do some basic organization?
That's hilarious. He always seems so prim and proper, but anytime he gives out reports, they always seem to be completely dysfunctional. Mysterious mechanical weapons. Are they like precursors to casts?
Those machine-like enemies we fought on the mothership were really powerful,
Like
weren't they?
robotic things to house photonic energy?
The ones Shiva brought with her? They're under analysis as we speak, but we honestly don't know much about them at this point.
Really?
Yep, no signs of life, so it's clear they're autonomous mechanical weapons at least. But their structure and materials employ technology Arx is unfamiliar with. Mechanical weapons created with unknown technology.
Luminex.
We're calling them Lumenmechs for now.
Lumenmechs. That's cool.
Their mobility, armor, and destructive power were all off the charts. Who could possibly create such a thing?
They were created using Photoner technology.
Photoner technology's still way outside our grasp, I take it.
So it would appear. Even the latest ARX-developed technology is easily outstripped by outdated Photoner weaponry. Almighty mechanical weapons, created with ancient cutting-edge technology to defeat the profound darkness. The corrupted were used to seal away the profound darkness by Shiva and placed under her control.
They've been further enhanced by the profound darkness's corruption.
Makes sense.
So they're already tough enough, and Shiva's powered them up even more? How are we supposed to fight them?
Huh? We managed to defeat them once.
Right, their armor was thick, but striking their flashy red sections seemed to hurt them.
Maybe their armor was forcibly removed to receive Shiva's corruption.
Makes sense.
Whatever the case, I'm sure they're aware of it. Any weapon worth its salt will attack while keeping its weak points hidden.
But if we can somehow exploit those weak points, we can beat them. Once we have that figured out, we'll be fighting on a much more level playing field.
Yep, that makes sense, actually. Lumenmechs. Oh, is that EO? I just barely caught that image right before we clicked on it.
Damn that Shiva lady! Our photons don't work? How is that even remotely fair? We all did the best we could, and we couldn't even make a dent in them. Boss, it just sucks.
Yeah, you can say that again.
Let everyone down again, and it feels like I'm useless to the cause.
Aww.
What was I supposed to do?
We did what we could.
I guess so. Yeah, we really did, didn't we? But we barely even put a scratch on them. I refuse to give up. I know we can still do something. I know I can still do something. Instead of just taking orders, I want to use my own judgment and make decisions I won't regret.
Aw.
I may not be the toughest operative around, but I'm gonna think this through and fight with everything I've got.
Fantastic.
If I'm lucky, maybe I'll even earn a compliment or two from you, boss.
Aw, I'll compliment you all you want.
Wait, I didn't mean that. I'm not sure where that came from. Anyway, I'm gonna go make myself useful. See you later, boss.
Bye. That was great. Alright, looks like we can only get through a few more of these. The Darkness Dweller's Burden. Oh, the Chuny. Welcome back. Oh, we got a full cutscene this time.
Emergency! I think Kyokuya was snooping through your records.
I don't think that's a big problem.
Access history in the database too. Did something happen between you two?
Wait.
Signing off.
I had good reason to look into your past. The hero who saved the universe. The rumors were true after all. Your Ark's great hope. However, the greater the hope, the greater the despair upon its loss.
Technically
You're
true.
admired, revered. What happens when you vanish from the world? Did you consider that? You should have never become a beacon of hope. You should have never existed in the first place.
Okay.
Don't give me that look, Guardian. Even if I kill you here and now, she'll fall into despair regardless. You need to live a long and healthy life. As her greatest hope.
Who's her?
As Ark's.
We're playing the pronoun game here.
Oh, did that shake you? Very well. Let us extend that lifespan of yours, however briefly. Allow me to share with you an incantation most dreadful.
Okay.
O mighty shadow, vanquisher of the light, be my strength, as fangs to the foolish. Arise within me, O phantom! Your thoughts?
Dreadful's one way to put it.
You have the makings of a phantom.
Oh my god.
Allow me to educate you.
Oh, this is hilarious.
If heroes favor power, phantoms favor craft. Do not confuse this with technique or skill. One must fight with the power of shadow. Not that I need to tell you. You already wield the might of darkness, yes?
Actually, yes, I do. I kind of am the character he wants to pretend to be.
become a true phantom, you must be willing to employ any means necessary. Turn your ear once more to the darkness lurking within you.
He does realize that I'm like imbued with Dark Falls energy.
He has an unconventional view of the world, doesn't he?
Yes, yes he does.
But for some reason, I have this urge to start chanting too. You're a scary guy.
Oh no, his chuniness is rubbing off on you. Whew. Oh no. Alright, I think that's about where we're gonna have to leave this. So either way, that's about the time I've got for this episode. Like and subscribe if you like the episode, ring that bell if you'd like to see more. Good night, and we're gonna do some more of these sub-stories tomorrow. Bye-bye!